look up this matchup with the Hawks, what do you see?
Very talented team, well coached. They're playing a much different style and identity than even when we played them earlier in the year at their place. And so they have the ability to put a lot of pressure on your defense with their talent and the way they play. And so we have to be very detailed. We have to be connected defensively, and we got to be very organized on the offensive end.
Have you been as connected as you want to be defensively? Do you feel like you guys really need to take it a step further?
I mean, you can always take it a step further, especially if you want to get to where we want to get to. But yeah, I mean, I think we've been a well-balanced team and a consistent defensive team for the majority of the season. And we just have to have a clear understanding of when we're at our best, what does it look like, and how do we stay there.
How much does their pace challenge your communication and transition defense?
Yeah, I mean, transition defense starts with our offense. And so if we do a great job with our spacing, with our reads, and our offensive organization, that will limit some of their transition opportunities. At the same time, they do get out. And so we have to do a great job. But I think building the connection between how we play offense and how we start our transition defense is very important.
You mentioned that they're playing differently. How have you seen Quinn's kind of stamp be placed onto this team since he took over?
Playing faster, more threes, and offensive rebounding.
That offensive rebounding. Obviously, you guys are the #1 defensive rebounding team in the league, but in your kind of down games, you've given them a ton.
Yeah.
What's the key to keeping those guys off the boards and keeping that from hurting you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just understanding where they're crashing from, understanding personnel. They're very deliberate in who crashes. And then knowing, Capella had 8 offensive rebounds in the play-in game, and so he has the ability to change the game. So we have to do a great job on him, and all 5 guys got to do it.
Joe, last year they were out of the playoffs, but the year before they made a serious run. Is that an experience factor that you take into account that they are playoff tested in a way that you might not expect next season?
I mean, it's the playoffs. Yeah, they'll be ready to play.
What's the energy like at practice?
It's focused, it's detailed. At the same time, we don't want that to limit our instincts, our physicality, our competitive nature. So it's a great balance for the guys right now.
What's the message going to be to the guys in that they've had this feeling of unfinished business kind of throughout the course of their offseason, now in the regular season, now playoffs are here? How do you kind of message that to make sure you're able to optimize the opportunity?
Focus on the details, focus on the execution, be the harder playing team.
So you talk a lot about getting teams in the cross matches. That seems to be an area where Atlanta's a little bit vulnerable. What's the key to kind of getting them on transition and developing those cross matches?
Our first shot defense, not giving them second chance shots and not getting them to the free throw line so that we can get out and we can get spaced and organized in the first 8 seconds.
Do you see any ways they make it a little difficult to put them in those positions, like how they try to avoid being in those cross matches?
Fouling and offensive rebounds.
You feel like Trey Young's kind of an underrated superstar?
I don't. He's a great player. You guys are in charge of labeling who's a superstar and who's not. It's not my job. I know he's a great player.
Did the way they played against Miami, did it surprise you, the space between how good Miami is and how good Atlanta is?
No, I mean, I think last game, watching them, it was an identity of what Coach Snyder has been trying to do since he got there. And, since he's been there, their offense has been top, their offensive rebounding percentage has been high, their transition pace has been high. And so I think what you saw is kind of what he wants the identity of his team to be. And, that's the understanding that we have to have heading into the game.
With that new regime and the fact that they didn't really play many of their guys in that last matchup, how much can you take from the season series?
Like I said, I think it's more, even when we played them at their place, they didn't really have their identity in line. And so you can take, a little bit of pieces from that, whether it's, our execution or certain matchups or sub-patterns, but at the end of the day, once you get to the playoffs, all that can change, and you have to be ready to adjust to different things. So.
How much did you guys look at what Quinn was doing in Utah with that three-point volume, with some of the things they were doing offensively? It seemed like that was an inspiration of Brad, he would always talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was, he's a great offensive mind. He's a great offensive coach, and even when they had him, they were great defense. So, I thought he was one of the guys that I kind of looked at first on how to create a well-balanced team, how to navigate that, and then just kind of how to build, just different nuances into both your offense and defense. So I feel like he's one of the best at doing that.
Have you been able to talk to him over the years?
Yeah, we've connected a little bit. We talked more during like summer league and stuff like that, and kind of gotten to know him a little bit. But I think just naturally the way he coaches and kind of what he's done, he's had an impact on every coach in the league.
What ways do you think Malcolm Brogdon's going to help this team in the playoffs?
Obviously everybody knows what he can do on an offensive standpoint, but when, he brings it to a different level defensively, he has the ability to guard multiple positions. He has size and physicality for us, and so, we're really looking for him to have a positive impact defensively, just as he does offensively. And I think when he's well-balanced, we're well-balanced.
Presented by your New England Ford dealers. Built for America. Built Ford proud.